What you're about to hear is an extract from our weekly podcast. If you want to hear the full thing, head over to our Patreon. There'll be a link in the description. It's patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. Right, so the main topic for today is Knights of the Old Republic. So there's been some rumblings online about this, hasn't there, guys, about possible remake, and it's come from a guy called Liam Robertson, known online as Unseen64. That's the name of his website, and he's been pretty reliable in the past. He's done a few leaks in the past. Do you know of anything else he's done, Liam? He's leaked some...
He's quite famous on YouTube for he gets exclusive scoops from old developers. Proper
journalism, in other words.
Yeah, he's almost like an investigative journalist, I guess. Just some of the stuff he's known for is I think he found out about a cancelled Dirty Harry game, a cancelled Daredevil game, and I think he was responsible for learning about the cancelled Darth Maul Star Wars game that was being made at one point.
Yeah, so he's got his nose in a lot of places, and he's obviously got a lot of contacts in that case, and a lot of people who can tip him off. Well, he's got some. He's come out on his podcast, which you can get over on his Patreon page. He's come out with some interesting info about Knights of the Old Republic. So he says in his podcast, Knights of the Old Republic game is in development. Started out as a remake or possibly a kind of reimagining, but it's not exactly a remake anymore. It's moved on to something new, which he didn't kind of elaborate too much on. But they are kind of prototyping it now. That's the stage that they are. He didn't cite any sources, but he was very confident on the details. And just those details alone, I think that... the fact that he knows that it started out as a remake and moved on to something else is quite an interesting insight, I think. So this is all being done at Bioware Austin, which apparently are now exclusively working on Star Wars games, which would explain why Bioware Montreal were the guys who made Mass Effect Andromeda. This isn't a surprise to me at all. Mass Effect Andromeda being developed, that was the first clue. As soon as I realised, hang on, this isn't the full Bioware team. What are the full Bioware team doing? They've been running the MMO, the Old Republic. But, they haven't been creating a game. They haven't been developing a game. So I was just curious to see what you guys think Knights of the Republic could be, whether you guys think it will be a full remake, will it be a sequel? I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think it's going to be?
Well, it looks like Knights of the Old Republic could be getting a soft reboot. That's what I think it's going to be. I think if they did a complete remake remaster, it wouldn't really be as secretive as if they were doing something fresh with the series. When the original came out, it broke new grounds, and the second one as well. And you know what companies are like, especially ones owned by EA. If there's any excuse to bring up a remake and remaster, they hype it for a while. So the fact that it is quite secretive, it is showing signs that it's more than likely going to be a new game, or what's the right word for a soft a reimagining? Reimagining. Because the developers in Bioware Austin have said that they are working on a new game, and her exact quote is, Drew Kapershian said, "Yes, but that's all I can say. Hell, I might have already said too much." And it's like,
Damn it, Drew.
Yeah, what Star Wars is, got quite a tight lid on leaks and things like that. It's the ultimate, isn't it? The golden goose, really. Star Wars, anything Star Wars sells, movies or anything. So if they were working on something, I'm assuming they'd have to be tight-lipped about it. However, if it was a simple remake, they'd be screaming it from the rooftops now. So that's what I think it's going to be: something fresh, something new, and good for them.
I think it's not a surprise for many reasons. Mainly because, like you said, Star Wars is the golden goose. EA have got kind of exclusive rights on it, I think, haven't they? To make games for it. So they've already got Battlefront out, but that's just a straight shooter. And it was a very light, bare bones shooter at that. So they got that out really quickly. I think this, this has probably been in the works as soon as they were capable of doing it. They probably had a team researching it as soon as they were like, okay, well, we need to make a Knights of the Republic game. It's not a surprise at all. There's always been clamour for it. Ever since they revealed the Old Republic, people were saying, why not just make Knights of the Republic 3? Yeah, that's like like almost meme grade kind of comments on videos. Every bit of the Old Republic coverage is, it should have been Knights of the Old Republic 3, just a single player experience. Why were those games such classics though? Why did you play Knights of the Republic, Liam?
I got halfway through the first one, way back in 2010, and never actually finished my playthrough. But this news will probably get me to definitely go back and actually start fresh. Yes,
you should definitely go back and start fresh. Knights of the Republic 1 was Bioware, Knights of the Republic 2 was Obsidian.
Yeah.
So they're made by 2 different studios, and then Knights of the Old Republic 1 is commonly seen as the classic, the best one. I actually prefer the second one, and that's kind of an unpopular opinion, I think. What was kind of unique about these games is that they were this. Anyone who's played Mass Effect owes a lot to Knights of the Republic,
Definitely.
as you kind of mentioned this before, Jake. The dialogue system and the conversations and the light side, dark side stuff, swinging on one, morally going one way or the other. Having a party of people with you that fly with you on a ship that you can talk to aboard that ship. You can walk around the kind of Millennium Falcon ripoff. It's called the Ebon Hawk or something like that, I think. So you can walk around your own ship. You can choose which planet you want to fly to, what kind of missions you want to do. It's a classic RPG. It's one of my best games of all time. And I just think that it's long overdue to get another game. When was Knights of the Republic 2? That was like 2003, 2004, something like that. Because it was quite quick after
it was
the
a year
original.
after, I think. 2004,
was it really?
I think, yeah.
So what? Yeah. So Knights of the Old Republic came out, and then the sequel followed very shortly afterwards, and it was never finished. So the ending kind of wasn't a very satisfying ending, and then since then modders and stuff have corrected that. So there's people like me who are huge fans of this series, and we haven't had anything since the early 2000s. So
do you think that the fact that it is such a old original game and that you played it, I can assume, ages and ages ago.
Yeah.
That you hold it in such high esteem because it was a certain place, in the game industry. It was part of your formative years gaming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you think that, in light of that, anything you think that this new game will be, it might fall flat to your expectations somewhat?
I don't know. Because I would be excited about this. There's not many games that I let myself go crazy for, outside of Red Dead Redemption for some reason. So
you think about Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah. That's a prime example of the recent one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone loves the original Mass Effect, but because Mass Effect Andromeda didn't quite fully realise what it could have done.
Nowhere near did it realise what it could have done. But I wasn't that excited for that. So I wasn't. I mean, I was excited when they announced it, but then I just kind of died down and it picked up again just before release. I wasn't hyped for that for ages or anything like that. And when it did come out, I therefore wasn't bitterly disappointed, and that's why I can still play it and kind of enjoy it. I think Knights of the Old Republic, they will have to take great care with it, and I think they will, because whatever you think about Star Wars Battlefront, it is an incredibly good reflection of battles in the Star Wars movies, right? Yeah. The sounds and the visuals and everything are absolutely spot on. And if they can capture that over like a 30-40 hour RPG in Knights of the Old Republic, and I don't mean capturing something from the movies, but capturing what Knights of the Old Republic did so well, the original one, if they can get that, just pay attention to why that was good and get that reflected in the new game. I think they're onto an easy winner, and that's another reason why I think this was always going to happen. This is inevitable. By the way, we should mention that there's been no official confirmation of this at the time of recording, so that might change by the time this video goes out. Yeah. But I don't know. I doubt it. I think they'll be quiet on this for some time to go.
I think they will. I think your question, Gaz, is something to think about and to mull over, because when I played Knights of the Old Republic, it was 14 years ago. All right, so I've not played it since. But the things that made that game great, they were innovative. Very Mass Effect. It might just point out a bunch of similarities, and that is all reigning true. And I think what's a realistic expectation for this, if we are being honest with ourselves, it could just be Mass Effect reskin, like Mass Effect gameplay. Like they could do it on the same engine and just change the story, Star Wars it up. Do you know what I mean?
I think the Dragon Age. Liam pointed this out in the office as well. Than you, Liam. It's the Dragon Age mechanically is quite similar because of the combat system.
Dragon Age Origins especially.
Yeah, it's got that passive combat feeling, isn't it? Where you queue up attacks, kind of like an MMO, I guess. So I hope they do that. There's a lot of people who said that they hope that it goes to like real time action where you just where a click of a mouse button or pressing a button equals an attack immediately, as it does in like action games. I wouldn't want that. I think I would prefer to have a more MMO like combat system, like in Dragon Age, where you queue up attacks and queue up actions and stuff, and you manage your party on a tactical kind of level, which is what you do. Even in Dragon Age Inquisition, you still do that. You can zoom out and you can control everything they do. Is anyone really surprised by this announcement at all?
No, because like I say, the way I see it, truthfully, is EA. They're thinking, right, boys, we've got the game engine.
Yeah.
Now all we need to do is get Bioware Austin, who, by the way, are the good Bioware, the proper Bioware that made all the good games.
I was thinking of calling Bioware Montreal the B team, and I was like, that's not very fair.
Bioware, well, yeah, it's out the bag now. Bioware Austin are the ones that made the good games and the good stories. So all they need to do is a Mass Effect reskin with Star Wars stories, and it'll sell. And I can imagine, as a business decision, that's probably what they're going for.
Yeah, so long as the animation team isn't the same.
Well, as long as there is an animation team, that'd be good.
Some quality control.
Yeah, I think that that's more than likely going to be it, because that's what I mean. They think, well, what can we do with this very space setting? We've already got the game engine that works well with spacecraft, with different planets. We had that game, Star Wars. Yeah. They're mad for Star Wars.
Let's not make that.
It's probably going to be that, isn't it? Let's be realistic. I don't think they're going to give a hoot about what you've got to say about the stacking of things. I'd love to see that throwback, and maybe they will. But
I don't. It's not a throwback though. Dragon Age Inquisition came out 2 years ago. It is more active than Dragon Age Origins was in terms of the combat, but it still was a variety of attacks that you could deploy, and you could get your, you could get your party to execute attacks and stuff. In Mass Effect, there's zero management of the party. When you're actually attacking, you can say attack that guy or follow me,
or stand there.
That's as far as it goes. So I really hope they go deeper than that, and I think they will. I'm pretty confident they will.
They've got all the framework, haven't they? They've got the chassis for this game, and all they need to do is to put a nice, good old story together, chuck a few lightsabers their way, and that's, so I'm not surprised, because it's an easy one for them, and it's fan service, and it'll make them look better. It's the clever thing to do, isn't it?
There's a lot of video game series out there where you get a team who are really good at making games, and then there is another team who make those same games but don't do as good a job of it, and that's very much what happened with Mass Effect, and that's why as soon as it was shit, as soon as people realised that Mass Effect Andromeda is getting bad reviews and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, so this is a bad Bioware game, so the next one will be good, right? That's how the pattern goes.
Yeah. So when are we thinking that this will be released? What timescale are we thinking?
You're looking at,
can't be
if they announce it this year, which I hope they do, it will be 2018, I imagine.
Late 2018.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Once they announce it, you got to at least have 6 months on top of that.
And we've had Andromeda as well already this year, so I don't see them releasing two big RPGs in 1 year. It's just it was frustrating for me when they announced the Old Republic, because I was, you're saying, it's part of my formative gaming experience, and it very much was, but it was a pioneer in the way that it told stories to you in awesome ways. And the overall presentation of like a sci-fi epic RPG, I can't think of anything before that where it had the depth of Knights of the Republic, or the setting, or having your own spaceship. That was such an awesome fact.
There wasn't, and this game style that we know, most players will know it from the original Mass Effect. Knights of the Republic was the innovator. I honestly don't think there was anything else that had that, maybe storytelling in a different genre altogether. Do you know what I mean? Like a different style RPG, like top-down camera. But definitely the way that they told the story, and the way that decision-making affected things, like, you could go down the dark side. And
it affected how your character looked as well.
Very Fable.
That's true, yeah.
Very Fable.
That is one big bonus of having it the Star Wars universe, is that everybody knows the lore, everybody knows the setting, everybody knows the background to pretty much every race, humans and whatever, everyone is already invested in some sort of aspect of the story, so they've got that going for them from the kickoff. They don't have to build a world; it's already there and it's already ingrained in people's psyche. So going forward, I just fear that how groundbreaking the original was, and you remember it fondly because of that, is like how much more ground is there to break in this genre, and can they do that again?
I don't think they can do much more. What they can do is look at the strengths of Andromeda, look at the strengths of Knights of the Old Republic, and just combine them, and you'll get a great game out of that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about Knights of the Old Republic that is forgotten is because it was so groundbreaking that people talk about that all the time. But actually, if you forgot all of that, the story stands by itself, and I think that's all they can hope to do now, is tell a really good story, because I don't think they can push it any further. I think you're right there. All the things that people liked about the first one was how groundbreaking it was. The second one, which people, like even Mike, prefers, was just the same formula, just a different story.
It was darker, and the themes were more, I don't know, they were grittier, I think.
Yeah, if it's a Bioware game and it's a real Bioware game, they can ride just on the story. They can make a game work with just a story, and that's what you can do if the story's good enough. So that's all they can hope to do, because there's no way they can innovate again the same level as they did on the first one. It's just unless they made it fully VR and you could actually do the Force in real life. There's no way.
That sounds like an interesting concept. Being VR, and you should email them for an early access code as well.
Hey, Bioware, what about VR? You're welcome, Jake.
One thing though, let's just hope that they finish the game before they release it.
That's all they have to do. That is all they have to do. Just make a game and have it be finished.
Is that too much to ask? Apparently
it is. Thanks a lot for listening to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. I've been Mike Williams. I've been joined by Liam McKelvey, Jake Klukowski and Gareth Evans. We'll see you next time.